The success of English language learning and teaching nowadays relies on carefully selected approach, method, and technique, brimmed with high-quality materials and a well-trained teacher, which as a result guarantee success both for the students and for the teachers. Modern teachers know that there is no single method considered the only one, and then they should mix and match the best elements of each to suit the needs of the students, and that flexibility of the teachers is most valued in all teaching contexts. In Young Digital Planet, we believe that these three approaches are crucial for language teaching in all contexts. Communicative approach to language teaching, known as CLT, PPP, presentation, practice, and production. Blended learning, as the key to both of them. Our researchers, best teachers, and methodologists have taken all the best from these three and combined to make high-quality language courses. Language is communication, so how to make our students speak? One of the goals is to teach communicative competence and give the students a real-life communicative experience and possibility to interact creatively and spontaneously, just like people do in their native language. Students' motivation comes from the desire to communicate in meaningful ways about interesting topics. Plenty of comprehensible input. The only way to acquire new language is by having as much input in the language as possible. The more authentic the input, the more interesting and motivating the course becomes. Multimedia resources, the internet, learning platforms, all these different type of resources available nowadays with plenty of visual and audio stimuli enable to exploit natural language in variety of ways, inspire the students and provoke practical language. By incorporating the language that students come across in their own message, it is possible to develop communicative competence. The vehicles of communication. To master the language, one needs to develop 4 critical skills: receptive, listening and reading; productive, writing and speaking. Grammar and vocabulary are tools to achieve language proficiency and should only be studied in the real-life context. A student equipped with vocabulary structures, functions and strategies interacts successfully and gets the message across. Language lessons should give the students the possibility for rehearsal of real-life situations in which they can practice language for communication and see if they are successful. Experimenting is part of communication. Errors are an inseparable part of language, whether native or second. That is why students should not feel discouraged when trying out new language items spontaneously. In our courses, we make sure that the students are aware of their mistakes, but encourage them to practice so that learning can be engaging and fun. CLT focuses on the needs of the students. Language syllabus should take into account different needs of the students. The input and the materials used should relate to students' lives and experiences, and make use of items with which they are already familiar in the native language. Such input motivates students and encourages personal touch in English language learning. Also, it helps to have a nice atmosphere in the classroom. The PPP approach is one of the most common methodology employed by teachers and schools worldwide. Also, it is a feature of renowned CELTA certification for teachers and other TEF qualifications, and most often followed model of a lesson. This model assumes 3 basic stages in a lesson: presentation, practice, and production. Presentation. The first stage of a lesson when new learning item is shown in the context. Teacher's role is to set up a realistic situation, elicit or model some language from the students to enable the target language to be acquired. Practice. The following part of the lesson during which students get used to the new item, be it grammatical, lexical, functional or any other. In this part of the lesson, the teacher's role is to control the practice and vary it from very structured, mechanical at the beginning, to less structured, the moment student masters the material. The purpose of this stage is to practice accuracy and build confidence around the given language item. Production, sometimes referred to as creativity, in which students get little or no control from the teacher, whose role is limited to monitoring and mentoring. Students should be allowed during this time to talk freely about themselves, their own opinions, emotions, stories, daily situations, etc., and ideally apply the language they have been practicing. The purpose of this stage is to practice fluency. Blended learning describes the environment in which learning takes place, from the classroom to students' home. When it is possible to mix all the media available, from face-to-face instruction to online learning and devices such as PCs, smartphones and tablets, teachers talk about blended learning, most popular way to extend teaching and make it more attractive in the world of education and business. Some benefits of blended learning. Language learning becomes more real-life situation in which all media are necessary and important. Builds confidence. Students are less stressed and do not feel being judged and assessed all the time by the teacher or peers. Satisfaction and motivation improve. Convenience. In comfortable conditions, students learn better. Self-pace. When students adjust the pace of the learning process to their actual needs and possibilities. Learner-centered approach. Such a technique takes into account students' learning styles, interests, and abilities, appeals to students with different intelligence types. Flexibility, both for the students and the teachers. Learning occurs out of sequence and is a natural consequence rather than an effort made by the students. Possibility to practice technology skills at the same time.